Hey guys, Ryan here. In today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most important movements in all of Warzone, and that's going to be snaking. We're going to be covering how to do it, why to do it, and what situations you want to primarily use it in, and pretty much everything in between. If you guys enjoy this video, you guys don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe. I just want to say thank you for watching, and let's get into it. So first things first, what is snaking and how do you do it? So what you're seeing in the background is what the snake, quote unquote, looks like. It's when you lay down using whatever your lay down button is, and then you're going to sprint to stand up, and this is going to cause your camera to break on enemy screens, and this is going to give you a massive advantage in gunfights and just overall. I had a viewer request that I do a hand cam for this, but it doesn't work with my setup because I have paddles on my controller, so I'm just going to break it down in slow motion. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to lay down just by simply pressing the lay down button. You don't have to lay down all the way. It is actually sometimes a lot better to just crouch, but you just have to hit your crouch or prone button. And then after that, you want to engage in a sprint. This is actually one of the most key parts. If you're not using the sprint, your snake is going to be a little slower and it's not going to have the same effect on the camera and the overall servers because of the tick rate, and this is what you want to abuse. This is why the whole sprint thing is so important. As you can see in the background, I'm doing the crouch snake right now. I'm not laying down all the way and then I hit a sprint. And you can see how quickly I stand up. Now I'm laying down all the way and snaking. And you can see how broken and how impactful this is. The one key thing I really want to stress is you have to press the sprint button. If you are on auto tac sprint, you still have to press the sprint button down like you would normally if you didn't have auto tac sprint. If you don't have paddles and you want to do this, I'd recommend either playing claw or just switch your settings to tactical. What that means is if you press your right stick, you're going to lay down. So all you're going to be doing is pressing your right stick down, then pressing your left stick to stand up. Right stick to crouch or lay down, left stick to stand up. It's actually pretty simple if you don't have paddles, and it's one of the easier movement techniques if you learn to use tactical or play claw. The next thing I want to talk about is when should you be snaking. In this clip, I'm going to kill this person, I'm going to be weak, I'm going to know that someone's behind me, and watch how I'm going to plate and snake at the exact same time. This is giving me a best of both worlds scenario because I still get intel on people near me, but I'm also keeping myself safe and allowing myself to safely plate. Because in reality, there's mainly three ways to use snaking. One is to get intel, the second is to make space to plate, and the third is to win gunfights. And that's what I'm going to show in this example is how to win gunfights. So I have almost no plates. I have ground loot that you spawn with in Rebirth. I'm going to see this guy and watch how I use a crouch snake here to hide, get shots on him. Then I'm going to snake again behind cover to essentially hide myself. And now he's going to end up running from me. I'm not going to really be able to find him. My P90 has almost no bullets. It's not even that good. He had serpentine, yada yada. But you saw how effective it was and how I was able to actually best this guy. And watch, I'm actually going to end up killing him with the shotgun. But you watched how I was able to set up that whole situation because I snaked. When you use this in combat, you're mainly only going to use a snake a couple times in the gunfight. See, I shoot him, I go back behind cover. I'm now going to push up, I'm going to get shots on him. Then I'm going to go behind cover using the snake. Then I'm going to get more shots on him. And that's the way you want to use it. You don't want to spam it 7, 8 times in a row. I mean, you can, but realistically, in most gunfights, you just need to use it 2 or 3 times. You need to get some shots in between when you do it, and that's the real key. Learning to find that rhythm of going down, putting a couple shots out, or using it to plate and get intel, just doing it and finding that rhythm is the key. I promise if you practice this, go into this Warzone orientation, or just learn it, you will inevitably find yourself benefiting from implementing this into your gameplay. Just to recap the 3 ways you should use it. Number 1 is to plate. Number 2 is to get intel and understand where people are at. And number 3 is to win gunfights. And this list isn't in any particular order. It's just to demonstrate all the different ways you can use this and also why it's so important. I think the biggest skill that most people learn from learning how to snake is they start to understand lines of sight more, and they start to understand ways to reduce lines of sight on themselves. When you're getting shot at by multiple squads, figuring out how to find those little pockets of space by using things like snaking is absolutely vital to staying alive. The other thing people don't really know about snaking is it is broken on your camera. When someone is properly snaking, you can't properly see them because their head is not going to register, and that's what makes it so broken and why you need to do the sprint technique. You are going to have a massive peeker's advantage and a massive advantage in almost every gunfight you're using this in because of this. I promise if you integrate this into your gameplay, you will notice a difference once you figure out how to use it. I think the hardest part for people is actually figuring out how to use it and the realization that you don't need to use this every game or even all that often. It's one of the most effective movements when used correctly and when you have the opportunity to use it, but you don't want to use it in every situation, and I certainly don't use it every game, and I think that's something people have to realize. This movement is not as crucial as something like a jump shot, a drop shot, or a slide canceling, but it is in that next tier of that kind of more advanced movement, and it kind of helps take your game from being a good player to being a great player and all of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you guys actually learn how to snake and when to use it, and overall, I just hope you have a good day. It's been Ryan. Peace.